joke. What can I say? The old man loves to get a laugh. Growing up, half the time, I didn't have a clue what his jokes were about, but I laughed anyways. Down at the barber shop, it didn't matter how many guys my father let take cuts ahead of him in line. He just wanted to sit there all Saturday and crack people up, make folks bust a gut. Getting his sideburns trimmed was definitely a low priority. My old man, he says, "Stop me if you've heard this one before." The way my old man tells it, he walks into the oncologist's office and he says, "After the chemotherapy, will I be able to play the violin?" And in response, the oncologist says, "It's metastasized, and you've got 6 months to live." And working his eyebrows like Groucho Marx, tapping the ash from his invisible cigar, my old man says, 6 months, he says, "I want a second opinion." So the oncologist, he says, "Okay, you've got cancer and your jokes stink." So they do the chemotherapy and they give him some radiation, like they do. Even if the shit burns him up so bad on the inside that he tells me that taking a piss is like passing razor blades, he's still, every Saturday down by the barber shop telling jokes, even if now he's bald as a cue ball. I mean, he's skinny as a bald skeleton, and he's getting to haul around one of those cylinders of oxygen under pressure, like some little version of a ball and chain. He walks into the barber shop dragging that pressurized cylinder of oxygen with the tube of it going up and looping around his nose and over his ears and around his bald head, and he says, "Just a little off the top, please." And folks laugh. Understand me. My old man is no Uncle Milty. He's no Edgar Bergen. The man's skinny as a Halloween skeleton and bald and going to be dead by about 6 weeks. So it don't matter what he says. Folks are going to hee-haw like donkeys just out of their genuine affection for him. But seriously, I'm not doing him justice. It's my fault if this doesn't come across, but my old man is funnier than he sounds. Maybe his sense of humor is a talent I just didn't inherit. Back when I was his little Charlie McCarthy, the whole time growing up, he used to ask me, "Knock, knock," and I'd say, "Who's there?" He'd say, "Old lady," and I'd say, "Old lady who?" And he'd say, "Wow, I didn't know you could yodel." Me? I didn't get it. I was so stupid. I was 7 years old and still stuck in the first grade. I didn't know Switzerland from Shinola, but I want for my old man to love me, so I learned to laugh. Whatever he says, I laugh. By old lady, my guess is that he means my mom who ran away and left us. All my old man will say about her is how she was a real looker who just couldn't take a joke. She just was not a good sport. He used to ask me, when that Vinnie Van Gogh cut off his ear and sent it to that whore he was so crazy about, how did he send it? The punchline is, he sent it by ear mail. But being 7 years old, I was still stuck back on not knowing who Van Gogh is, or what's a whore. And nothing kills a joke faster than asking my old man to explain himself. So when my old man says, "What do you get when you cross a pig with Count Dracula?" I knew to never ask, "What's a Count Dracula?" I just get a big laugh ready for when he tells me, "A hampire." And when he says, "Knock, knock," and I'd say, "Who's there?" and he says, "Radio," and I'd say, "Radio who?" And he's already started to bust a gut when he says, "Radio or not, I'm going to come in your mouth." Then what the hell? I just keep laughing. My whole growing up, I figured I'm just too ignorant to appreciate a good joke. My teachers still haven't covered long division and all the multiplication tables, so it's not my old man's fault that I'm so stupid I don't know what's come. My old lady, who abandoned us, he says that she hated that joke. So maybe I just inherited her lack of humor. But love, I mean, you have to love your old man. I mean, after you're born, it's not like you get a choice. Nobody wants to see their old man breathing out of some tank and going into the hospital to die sky high on morphine, and he's not eating a bite of that red-flavored Jell-O they serve for dinner. Stop me if I already told you this one, but my old man gets that prostate cancer that's not even like cancer because it takes 20, 30 years before we even know he's so sick. And the next thing I know is I'm trying to remember all the stuff he's ever taught me. Like if you spray some WD-40 on the shovel blade before you dig a hole, the digging will go a lot easier. And he taught me how to tie a shoelace and make a foul shot in basketball. And he taught me jokes. Lots and lots of jokes. And sure, the man's no Robin Williams. But I watched this movie one time about Robin Williams, who gets dressed up with a red rubber ball on his nose and this big rainbow-colored afro wig, and those big clown shoes with a fake carnation stuck in his buttonhole of his shirt that squirts water. And the guy's a hotshot doctor who makes these little kids with cancer laugh so hard that they stop dying. Understand me, these bald kid skeletons who look lots more worse off than my old man. It's amazing, but they get healthy, and that whole movie is based on a true story. What I mean is we all know that laughter is the best medicine. All that time being stuck in the hospital waiting room, I read every copy of the Reader's Digest. And we've all heard the true story about the guy with a brain cancer the size of a grapefruit inside of his skull, and he's about to croak. All the doctors and priests and experts say that he's a goner. Only he forces himself to watch non-stop movies about the Three Stooges. This stage 4 cancer guy forces himself to laugh non-stop at Abbott and Costello and Laurel and Hardy and those Marx Brothers. And he gets healed by the endorphins and the oxygenated blood. So I figure, what have I got to lose? All I need to do is remember some of my old man's favorite gags and to get him started back laughing on the road to recovery. I figure, what could it hurt? So this grown-up son walks into his father's hospice room, pulls up a chair beside the bed and sits down. The son looks into his old man's pale, dying face and he says, so this blonde gal walks into a neighborhood bar where she's never been before, and she's got tits out to here and a tight little hiney. And she asks the bartender for a Michelob, and he serves her a Michelob, except he sneaks a Mickey Finn into her bottle, and this blonde goes unconscious. And every guy in the bar leans her over the edge of the pool table and hikes up her skirt and fucks her. And at closing time, they slap her awake and they tell her she's got to leave. And every few days, this gal with the tits and the ass walks in and asks for a Mickey Finn, asks for a Michelob and gets a Mickey Finn and gets fucked by the crowd until one day she walks in and asks the bartender, can he maybe just give her a Budweiser instead? Granted, I have not landed this particular Shaggy Dog story since I was in the first grade. But my old man used to love this next part. The bartender smiles so nice, and he says, what? You don't like Michelob no more?